there's a generation of men, there's a generation of leaders who are really just and truly waking up every day and doing their best not to fail, man. And like, I don't care what you look like. If that's you, like, I got all the love in the world for you.
Hey everybody, we're back. I'm so honored to be here with Tim. And Tim, thanks for being here today. I think this could be such an impactful conversation for generations to come, probably. So thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you, buddy.
Hey man, I appreciate the invitation, my guy.
Yeah. So if you want to tell people at home a little bit about you, a little about your background, and then we'll kind of dive into some questions.
Absolutely. So my name is Tim Behling, founder, executive director of Success Team. But even before that, I'm a native of Macon County. Okay. I'm the only son. Got two sisters on the east side. I'm a millennial leader, if you want to call me that, and things of that nature. First generation everything. First generation college graduate. Awesome. First generation entrepreneur. First generation, I got a dream. I'm about to go out here and accomplish it.
I love it.
So I mean, hey, that's just the gist of it.
I love it. So before you are here in 2022, you had a background. So tell us a little bit about your background, because I'm a firm believer your background really, it creates you, of who you are.
Yeah.
So tell the people a little about your background.
Absolutely. So like, man, again, from Aiken, but I've pretty much been the man in every house that I've either stepped foot in or been raised in. Okay. I've never met my biological father. I've never met my biological grandfather. The only two people that I had growing up that were really those true figures of what leadership and leading a household looked like to me was my mother and my grandmother, right? Love them to death. They pretty much instilled all the principles into me to help me become who I am. Okay. Again, like two sisters on each side, so it's me. When it comes to becoming who I am, becoming that man, becoming that adult, becoming that leader, I'm looking in the mirror trying to make sure that whoever I see is somebody I can be proud of, but then at the same time, I'm also teaching that individual. So it's an interesting thing, man, because I'm a human, a mentor, and a teacher, all towards, for myself, which ultimately got me here to mentor and teach others.
What point in your age did you realize, you kind of got to bootstrap it up and be the man in the house? It's hard. I mean, we talked a little bit before this interview actually officially started of backgrounds, but at what age did you realize I need to start stepping up?
Man, I'll be honest with you. My first accomplishment as a man was being able to carry the milk in the house.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Because that was when you think about groceries, that was the heaviest thing. Yeah. And I remember one time, I was probably around 8 years old. I dropped it because we had porch steps, and it just splattered everywhere. And my mom, she's coming out. She's like, man, it's okay. Blah, blah, blah. We go back to the store. We'll get some milk. In my head, one, I'm disappointed I can't eat my Apple Jacks right then. Whatever. Two, I'm like, you carry the milk every day. Yeah. 2 jugs, and you never drop it. So why did I? And at that point in time, I would say that's when a light bulb, clicked in my head, to really tap into getting better some way, somehow. I had no idea what getting better looked like, but at the same time, I knew that at any point in time, I needed to be able to carry the milk in the house. Wow. And then at age 13, you go through phases, right? You start getting out there, you start developing, you start understanding what things are, but I would say the maturation and the decision to become who I am today started when I was 17 years old, about to graduate high school and enter this real world.
I like it. Yeah, it's cool. I'm sitting here thinking about originally when you said carrying the milk, I'm trying to think of myself as I'm the person who used to carry one trip, right? I'm loading up the bags, and over time, and now I don't do that anymore. I take my time, do the process right, carry. I don't know if I carry the milk or carry the carton of Coke or whatever it is into the house. I take care of those things like that before. Make sure the eggs don't break. Don't try to carry it all at one time.
So that's huge because as men, I just from my experience, I've learned that sometimes we correlate manhood with our physical strengths. Yeah. When in actuality, it's our mental. So you moving smart.
Yeah. All day long. All right. So I want to jump into what you're doing, your passion. So if you don't mind, can you give us a brief overview of it, and then we're going to dig into a little bit more of it. as well.
Absolutely. So at the core, my passion is youth mentorship,
Okay.
youth development, leadership development, and I do that through Success Team, which is a 501c3 nonprofit specializing in educational youth development. It's housed here in Aiken. We serve the CSRA, and after 8 years, because we've been doing this since 2015, we've been able to impact South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina, right? But it's at the core again, like it's youth mentorship, it's providing opportunities for our young people to develop and get out in the community, it's outreach, it's succession planning.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to look at it from a business standpoint of it, it's leaders of today giving the young people opportunities to grow and develop and learn from, you know, what we have to offer them.
Oh, so good.
It's key, man.
What you started this about 4 years ago?
8
years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so how old were you at that point when you started this up?
19.
19. So you have a 19-year-old young man, kind of getting his feet wet, jumping in. How, like, I mean, 19, I was drinking beer and trying to party on the weekends. That's what I was doing. I didn't have ambitions of giving back and doing that. Where did that come from? I know your upbringing and stuff like that, but like, I mean, 19, how do you go to somebody and say, hey, I'm going to do this? And I'm sure people look at you and kind of say, okay, whatever, you're going to do it. Good job.
They did, truth be told, understandably, you know, because at that age, you aren't even fully understanding of like what your aspirations are, truth be told. And then again, not having an example, it's kind of like, look, you kind of right. I got to figure this thing out. But when I graduated high school at 18 years old, you know, my main objective wasn't going to college. It wasn't, you know, doing anything or following my own dreams. It was really making sure that I wasn't going to be a burden on my family now that I was an adult.
That's cool.
So like when I looked around, it was just like, we got a lot of problems that we need to solve, right? And there wasn't anything that could keep me focused enough. I had full option. I could either go left and get in trouble, or I can go right and, you know, do great things for my community. Yeah. I chose to channel it and go right because it was just like God, you know, truth be told, man.
Yeah.
Like God put it in my heart to understand that if I got dreams, other people do as well. Now you need to go and figure this thing out, and make it happen. He's been blessing us every step of the way.
I will tell you one of the biggest things for me personally is I always talk about some of my background. My mom, lucky enough that she was brave, really had courage to leave my dad when I was in first grade. My brother was in kindergarten. And I told you earlier it was because she asked me, why do you cry every day going to school? I mean, we literally used to bawl our eyes out going to school. And one day she asked me, I said, because if I stay home, Howard won't beat you up.
Right.
So, and through that time, like he was in and out a little bit, and he kind of left the picture around 12, 13 years old, somewhere in that time frame completely. But he's a drug addict. My mom worked her hiney off for us to provide. We ended up moving to my grandmother, and Granny really kind of took care of us overall. But I've always had the mentality of like, you can either let your past dictate your future, or you can try to make your future better. Yeah. And so that's amazing, man. So let's focus in on like what do you get the opportunity to do on a daily, yearly basis? What are you seeing from these young guys?
Yeah, so core programs, we have our summer programs, which are our leadership academies for young men, leadership academy for young women, and our back to school book bag drive, right? Those are the ones that, you know, open to the public, open to the community, and we're really just carving into their minds that exactly what you stated, whatever you want to do is totally up to you, right? While providing the resources for them to do that. Year round, it's our active youth council, right? These are our young people, guys and girls that stay with us, you know, throughout the entire year. They have the opportunity to enter at their freshman year, and they stay with us until they graduate high school. And we're just being very intentional about that. College prep, career readiness, financial literacy, soft skill development, public speaking, team building, like the value of not only other people that you see, but like value like within yourself as well. And like that's important because I think that anybody who cares about the future has to always care about our youth.
1,000%.
Yeah.
That's so good. What let's hear a success story. Give me a good story of, I mean, I'm just picturing something bad to greatness, polish the diamond, right?
Yeah.
So give us a good story.
Absolutely. So we got a couple now that we've been around. Most recently, we graduated our first class of youth council, right? They represented every school in Aiken County.
Beautiful.
All of them graduated with 3.0 GPA or higher. and like it's just something that we're proud of. But like the first one that instantly goes to my head is, you know, twins, right? They were our first twins. Not gonna necessarily mention their names or nothing like that, but basically their mother, she was hesitant about letting them become part of the program, right? One, because it was new to her. Two, because those were her babies, right? And like what happened is I was able to have a conversation with her. She allowed her young men to come in. We've been tight ever since. But then also too, like I think a success story is like them coming into their own man through the conversations that we have and, you know, the benefits of our program. Both of them graduated with GPAs to where the only expectation from them is to go to college. It's like, you can't graduate with 3.5 and like not go off to like any college that you wanted to go to. But again, on paper, they would be assumed at risk. And from that standpoint, I think it's really, really special because neither one of them went to college. Actually.
Really?
Yeah. One of them is in barber school now. Cool. He's about to definitely, in regards like to income-wise, sustainability, he's going to be amazing. And the other one serves in the Navy.
That's awesome, man.
Doing that thing.
That's making impacts from generations to come, which is, I think, so impactful. Man, that's good. That's good. That's awesome. I'm sure you got plenty more to share.
Yeah.
What's the community support to you like?
So community support comes in many different ways. Of course, being a nonprofit, you have to have funding, but you also have to have volunteers, and you got to have people who are willing to advocate, you know, for your program and the impact that you're trying to make, right? So community support now, we don't live without the community. Like that's huge.
Love it.
You know, the community has accepted our program. They've accepted our young people. And, you know, we've been thriving ever since. Even with program registration, like the community feeds it. We have a wait list for all of our programs.
Wow.
Right? There's a core thing that we do in regards like to showing appreciation. That's like I say at all points in time, from myself all the way down to our volunteers and board members, that, you know, we have to specialize in saying thank you because our community really, really does make this thing go.
That's awesome. I know one of the coolest things I see from you year in, year out is the week camp. I love it. So tell people what opportunity you get to do there. And I'll go ahead and speak on this part. Is I never learned how to change a tire. So like some of the small as that I see on these videos is like, oh my God, it's so great. So like even when I worked at Enterprise Rent a Car, we had to wear a tie. I kept my tie tied in the closet.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So like this one's small. So tell people about that. I won't steal the thunder from you, but yeah, tell people about the camp.
That's perfect. So like it's exactly that. Within our Leadership Academy for Young Men, we're doing our best to shape well-rounded men. Right? We're giving our boys an opportunity to become men, because every boy deserves an opportunity to become a man, right? But they're learning about basic mechanics. Again, they're learning about financial literacy. They're learning how to tie ties, suit and tie etiquette. They also learn how to dress casual, right? They're making sure that, you know, again, we're building that intrinsic understanding of, yo, have value for yourself, have value for your brother, and like grow up, be somebody who can stand on their own 2 feet, but then also develop a morale, you know, about yourself. Like your moral standards are like huge when it comes down to living. Man.
That's awesome. Your brother's keeper, right? Kind of go back to saying. One of the things, and this kind of just hit me, but have you seen any? Like, I'm assuming some of these people have like either probably good homes. Like not everybody has a broken home. It's probably not all sad stories.
Right.
But I'm sure you have some guys who their dads have left for whatever reason, or they come from a broken home. Have you seen anybody return back, like the families come back together because of these men? Yeah, man. Actually, we have. And like it's cool because every year we do a graduation, and like we tell them that parents, you need to bring anybody who has any ounce of love, you know, for these young men, so we can celebrate them. So like I think that we can't overlook or underestimate the power that our youth have when it comes down to impacting like the family structure as a whole. When people see their young men graduating, right, and you got to think this might be their first graduation official from a program of this magnitude on this stage at this level at this age, man, that's huge, man. Truth be told, and like we've seen families change just due to that experience. what's like your oldest like graduate right now? Are they anybody graduate college yet, or kind of people still in that college age group roughly?
Almost. We got one young man in his last semester in college.
Awesome,
he actually lives in California now, but he comes back every year to be a mentor within that program.
All right, so I know we've been focused on men, and that stuff's great, but I know you have a thing for the young ladies too as well. Yeah. So let me hear about that.
Man, I have a huge appreciation for women, our young ladies, our young girls. Again, probably, just due to my background, growing up with my mom and my sisters and my grandmother. And, I always had the thought process that as a man, how can I, impact young ladies?
Yeah.
Right? And like the answer was by giving a platform that impacts young ladies.
That's cool.
We built board capacity, we built team members, and like this past year, we were able to host our first annual Success Team Leadership Academy for Young Women.
Wow.
With that, we brought out 92 young ladies from the CSRA area. We plan on doing it again, but it mirrors our Academy for Young Men, but from a woman's perspective. Me personally, I think, I don't have any biological children right now, but I know you can connect with this too. Like that girl dad energy is different.
It is.
Like my biggest thing throughout that inaugural program was to make sure that our young ladies were in a safe space to feel selfless, empowered and limitless when it comes down to their opportunities of life, man. And it was really, really special. We did it at Augusta University. Again, like with our second annual, we plan to move it to overnight to mirror, our young guys. But, our young ladies are special. And I feel as if that, the yin and yang is always important when it comes down to society and moving society forward. So, like, just as much as we have to care about our young guys, we need to do that same thing for our young ladies. Yeah. And luckily, we have the capacity to do so.
Yeah, I mentioned before when we were talking, like my granny and my mother, I mean, that's who I basically grew up with. My uncles there as well. But like my granny, I saw so much from her, and like literally she taught us a lot. My mom taught me so much as well. But those women are like, without either one of them, I wouldn't be where I'm at either.
Right.
Even now with my wife and trying to support her and her endeavors as well. And then my two little ones, my two little girls, and I got my little boy now finally. Yeah. But just trying to like empower them and tell them like, hey, like the world is really yours. Go get it. Don't let anybody hold you back. And yeah, it's such an interesting time, and like I can only imagine what kids are going through on the social media side. Like, what are you seeing, like from like a youth perspective right now? That's, I wouldn't say holding them back, but they're allowing themselves to be held back because of perception.
Yeah, as a perception right now, I think might even top bullying.
Really?
Yeah. Or whatever, because like from a personal standpoint, I have nieces that will watch somebody play on the phone, but like don't actually want to go play.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with our young people, is the fact that they're inspired by what they see, but they're also confused that you can be the inspiration.
That's cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can go out and do these things. You can actually make this thing happen. But I also think that being a product of your environment also plays hand in hand with perception. My goal, Success Team's goal, is to bridge the gap between what they see on their phones and like what they have in reality. And like sometimes like that takes a collective effort, you know what I'm saying, to ensure that our young people really and truly have the visuals, the spaces, and the advocacy, for them to develop, because they're gonna look on their phone, they're gonna see anything from like the negative, they're gonna see the positive, they're gonna see the inspiration, the motivation, they're gonna see the fake stuff too.
Yeah.
Right? There's no limit to what they can see on their phones. So I think that anybody who cares about our youth, anybody who cares about our young people, we have to do our absolute best to bring them into a reality that is their safe space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're only tapped into that device because their mind feels safe there. But what if we gave them opportunity to feel safe in their actual reality?
Yeah.
Like, what if we gave them opportunities to be exactly what they want to do, like in their reality? Like, what if we made reality their playground to the point to where it's just like, I don't even need my phone, right? What if we gave them opportunities to like, hey, I want to be that. I'm going to go out there and do that. And I know it's possible because not only do I see people doing it, but I have the opportunities available to actually make that thing happen.
I preach all day long.
Right?
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's huge. I think that like we, as leaders today, we cannot separate, you know, our youth from any conversation when we talk about development of the future.
Yep.
Like, they have to be included. They have to be in the room. They have to be a priority if we care anything at all about our future, man. Like, and that's from anything. We're talking about workforce. Like, who's going to be replacing the leaders that we have today? We're talking about community leaders. Who is grooming, you know what I'm saying, them to make sure that the world keeps going around? We're talking about, you know, influences. The reason why that, you know, we have so many influences that may not be exactly what our young people want to be looking up to is because who influenced them?
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
It's just like there's not the, as leaders, we got to remember the contract. As parents, as community members, we got to remember the contract. We bring these young people into the world. The contract is we're going to guide you. We're going to teach you. We're going to mentor you. We're going to advocate for you. We're going to love you. You know what I'm saying? All the way throughout your entire life. And if any of those things aren't present, we leave them too wide open to discover something for themselves that we may not want them to be into.
Yeah.
Right? But that's what influence is.
Yeah. Well, I love, man, you're giving these people the opportunity.
Yeah.
That in so many ways they probably never thought they had the opportunity to do.
Right.
Which is so good. So, I mean, you're a mentor to hundreds, if not thousands, of young people now, and not young. I mean, they're young people, right? Not kids.
Right.
What do you like? Who's mentoring you? Because that's huge. I know your mom and all that growing up, like that's a mentorship by itself. But who's pouring into you daily? Because you're pouring out a ton into people, and I know that how this goes is like you can pour out all day long, but you gotta get poured back into.
You do.
And I know you can get it from Jesus. You can get it from all this perspective. But who's pouring to you daily?
Man, truth be told, like up until I got into the position to mentor others, I was mentored by like my friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, like there's so many people that I had the opportunity to meet growing up that were so much better than me, just because of what they were exposed to, that I was learning as I go. You know what I'm saying? Like my father figure when I was 13 was another 13-year-old teaching me things. Like, you know, he was from Philadelphia. He was my best friend. He was teaching me things like, man, I went on a cruise. What's that? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got to put ketchup on your Philly. Why? Yeah. Other things of that nature. Like, it was just an interesting thing. And like, from that standpoint, you know, really truly, like I've never had, you know, a full-time, even today, I've never had a full-time mentor.
Yeah.
That was, you know, hey, Tim, you know, how you doing? Or like, hey, this is what we want. But I am tapped in to other leaders who I can call and have productive conversations with and be a safe space. And like I've kind of understood that like a safe space for leaders is to be around like other leaders.
I agree with
that. So like even being here with you, having this conversation, like this is a mentorship thing. This is an opportunity, you know, for me to unwind and like get poured into. But like the trick I would say is that I like being in rooms, whether it's relevant information or not, to where like the end result should be growth. Yeah. So like, man, I'll go to the chamber meetings. I'll go to you know, workshops, projects, seminars, like anywhere where growth should be the end result, man. That's what I'm trying to be.
That's so good, man. I know for me, like my dad, what I told you earlier, wasn't ever around, so I've always tried to fill that void. Yeah. Like, I mean, my wife, you ask her right now, like one of my biggest prayers for the last like 7 years has been like, Jesus, give me a male mentor. I want like a daddy figure in my life. Yeah. I just don't have it. Yeah. I got plenty of men who pour into me like in different ways, and women as well, but there's never been that one person. I think I'm coming to realize more and more that everybody poured into you for a season, for a reason. Like it's so special. And it doesn't have to be one person. Why limit yourself to one person's like knowledge and expertise and wisdom? Right. And you have everybody out there can just give you so much more.
Absolutely.
That's so great. What I mean, we're sitting here, you're 8 years into your program.
Yeah.
what does this look like in, I mean, you got somebody about to graduate college, they're probably some middle 20s.
Yeah.
You're going to start having these people get married with kids in the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, what's that look like? Does it make, for me, just having this conversation, it makes me smile because I know guys like the guy who went to this program this last summer break isn't going to be the one at home popping the Jack Daniels when he comes home. He's going to be the one pouring into his wife that pours into his kids. That's what I see in my head.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's some of those same visions that you see.
Absolutely. And then he's saying, I feel as if, again, let's do 10 years, right?
Yep.
In 10 years, Tim Behling is replaced in that program by the alumni.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying? The guys who have come through, felt the benefits, and understand like the impact of this program, right? That's what I see. Because like in order for us to move society forward, like leadership has to get younger. Yeah. And all that stuff. And like, what are we really doing if they don't feel connected enough? If they don't feel impacted enough to be like, yo, this is the program that impacted me, I'm about to make it happen. But it's also personally, man, is that I gotta keep the promises that we made to them.
I like that.
You know,
good word.
It's like, you know, like I'm not the face of success team anymore. They're the face of success team. And like when we invited them to that understanding that they, you know, this is your organization, they take pride in that. And we, you know, they're like, well, you know, we need a school, you know, we need a center, we need, you know, our own transportation. They're very vocal about, hey, you know, these are the things that we need in order for us to, you know, accomplish our goal here. Like, we appreciate you, Tim. We appreciate your success team. We appreciate everything that you're trying to do, and we understand it. So like, these are the things that we would love to bring into fruition and make a reality, man. So like, in 10 years, not only will Tim Behling be replaced by alumni and other mentors and like younger faces to keep success team going, but we'll be operating out of a youth development center. We'll be, you know, independent with our transportation. College tours won't not be a hurdle. Like things will be what they need to be.
I like it.
You know,
I love it. I really do. What I focus on men because we're two men right here. But what are you doing to a man that comes to you? Because, I mean, we all screw up. I mean, I'm 30-something years old. I still make mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, but I own it. And that's what I try to teach my kids. Like, just own your mistake. Like, I don't care what you do. Yeah. Just own it. Like, when Emma Kate will, I don't know, whatever. She's 7 years old now. So she'll say something to mom and, like, yell, kind of get like attitude. And I always tell her. I was like, go apologize to your mom. She's like, I know you always make me so say, mom, sorry. Or tell mom she did great at this right here. I always encourage her, like encourage her mom. Yeah. But what are you telling these guys and these ladies who come to you in these situations like, I mean, they screwed up. They did drugs or whatever it looks like. Something crazy for them to think the world's going to fall down on them. I
mean, well, one, or whatever, I had to train myself, you know, as well. And everything. Mentorship is not the easiest thing.
No, it's not.
Parenting ain't easy either, truth be told. And that's why it take a village or whatever to make this thing go. But like, man, I've trained myself to remind them that they're human before I ridicule. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, and then now that doesn't necessarily mean I'm disappointed because you knew better. Yeah. Right? And all that stuff like that. That's still key.
Keeping it real with them.
Yeah. Like this, I'm going to be understanding. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to understand, like, yo, what got you there? 9 times out of 10, especially with our young guys, anytime I ask, it could be anything. Hey, man, why you ain't tie your shoes? I don't know. Why'd you jump off the roof? I don't know. Yeah. Like, why'd you do those drugs? I don't know. Nah. We need to understand, like, what got you here. Yeah. Over there, because if it's something that, if the result was something that you didn't want, right, then we need to have an understanding so you don't get back into that. Yeah. Like, we got to break habits. It's easy. When the term at risk is very, very annoying to me. Okay. Or whatever, because everybody's at risk. Just by one decision, it changes your whole life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like...
It's funny you say that because I literally see people in the paper who they go out their day and they get into a wreck and all of a sudden they're charged with homicide and they're in jail forever.
Ever. It's like that's one decision. And it could have been an accident. They probably never had any intention to wake up and make that mistake. But again, like, we're human, right? So like when we place, I would say, labels on individuals, we also have to understand, like, that could follow them for the rest of their life, but it could also train their mind to only see that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So it's just like if somebody is calling you dumb every day, eventually you're gonna be like, shoot, that's just who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if somebody's calling you great every day, eventually you're gonna be like, that's just who I am.
Yeah. I mean, you're 1,000% right. The encouragement there, just the power the words have over you is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to touch on this subject before we kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
And I think what you're doing is great because I saw it in the videos this summer, was you're breaking racial barriers.
Yeah.
And I think that's truly how you get communities to evolve. That's how you're going to get friendships to really become one in so many different ways. So how are you doing that? What does that look like here in Aiken? Like I'm not worried about the whole world right now. I want to know about our community. How are we going to break the racial barriers in our community through what you're doing?
Man, we just gotta stay connected to genuine people who like really and truly, you know, you can see color and still have love.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that we don't want to overlook, right? The good thing about our community is that I've connected with individuals, Success Team is connected with individuals who really understand that it don't matter what you look like, right? I got something to give, and if you open to receiving it, let's make that happen.
So good.
You know what I'm saying? Like we have to lead with love and like lead with a genuine understanding of things, but then also too not judging a book by its cover, right? 9 times out of 10 or whatever, when we go out in the community, you know, people may not assume that our backgrounds are similar.
Yeah.
Right? If I say I don't have a father, it's like, yeah, you know, that's not necessarily, I get it, right? If you say you didn't have a father, it's kind of like, what, really?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it has to be an understanding that, again, like we're all human beings.
Yeah.
Everybody has a journey. Everybody has a story. And like, if we can just, again, reconnect on like that value of when you see a human, right? Because I used to not having men around and everything, and not even like to go, you know, too left. But like I used to, like my respect level for men used to be really, really low.
That's all right there with you.
You know what I'm saying? It was just like at 10 years old, I could see a 40-year-old man and like think we on the same level or whatever, because at that point in time, both of us are carrying the milk in the house or whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? As I've grown and matured, right, I have a high level of respect from experience because I know what it takes now to have responsibility and like just wake up every day and try not to fail. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like when I see a man like you, like caring for their family and like being a father and like being a great husband and like going home every day and like, you know what I'm saying, like really and truly like just waking up every day and like trying not to fail, like I have a lot of respect for that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a generation of men, there's a generation of leaders who are really just and truly waking up every day and doing their best not to fail, man. And like, I don't care what you look like. If that's you, like I got all the love in the world for you.
Yeah, I have a big vision, and I believe it's one that God's given to me multiple times, and is for me. I think it starts with a man inside the church.
Yeah,
I've said it numerous times on social media, but one of the visions I have, we do so many great events in like downtown Aiken on Newberry Street, but I've always wanted to have like a almost like a worship preaching night, but have every church in the community come around and I get emotional, sorry.
Yeah,
but literally have everybody come around like from the black church and the white church. And I think that's where the segregation really starts.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate, but it's just the truth. But having everybody come back as one to worship God who loves us and gives us every opportunity in the world. And man, what you're doing is just going to continue to impact generations and generations and generations to come. It really, I hope these young people believe it. I hope you do too as well. Yeah. It just takes one opportunity to change somebody's life forever.
That's it.
So that's great, man. I appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you.
We're not done, but we're gonna have some fun now. We get my cry out the way.
Yeah, man.
And,
that's it.
So here we go. Rapid fire questions. This is the fun part. And so we'll start with this.
All right.
Favorite sport?
Football.
Football. Favorite team?
Patriots. New
really?
England. Tom Brady's GOAT.
Let's go.
Tom Brady's GOAT.
All right, I like it. Favorite season of the year?
Fall.
Fall?
I love turtlenecks.
Okay. Are they in style? I have no idea what style is.
I love turtlenecks, man. It just is what it is. Put me on a sweater and I'm great.
I love it. I would ask you, because I typically don't wear socks. Are you a sock or no sock kind of guy?
Depends on the day.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, it depends on the day. But if I do wear socks, they got to be long.
Okay. I like it. Favorite thing you're listening to right now on like podcast?
Anything leadership, anything manhood. I tap into, let me see. Sometimes they can go left, but it depends on like what it is. But I love E.T., Eric Thomas.
Yep. Oh man, behind the camera loves some E.T.
Yeah, man. Everything is in shit. I love Mike Rashid and all of that good stuff.
It's good.
Yeah, anything leadership.
I love it.
Yeah.
Your favorite car that you get to drive?
A Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's my dream car, man. I ain't gonna lie. I love smooth cars.
I like it.
I love smooth cars.
I love it. Well, I know we're about to wrap this thing up. Mm-hmm. So I know before we start this thing, you want to ask a question to me,
Absolutely.
which is a little bit different. So we're gonna do it.
Man, no, I've been following you on Facebook, following you on social media. Yeah. Super active. Any holiday, any accomplishment, like you always say Merry.
Yeah.
It don't matter what it is. Like usually people say Happy Birthday, Happy Thanksgiving. Like you always put Merry. Like what? Like why you do that?
So through college, I went back and forth to a bar I worked at in Columbia. Mm-hmm. So left Aiken on Wednesday nights, worked that Wednesday night, and worked like 1 week in a month in the summertime. Okay. We had a guy came in. He said Merry. DOB was his date of birth. So Alex would say that to everybody. I liked it because. And I think of Merry Christmas, I always love going out there and looking at the Christmas trees and stuff like that. So for me, Merry was a step higher than Happy. Okay. And you should be celebrated a little bit higher than, hey, Happy Birthday. It should be like the next level. So just bringing that different word, and honestly, it caught people's attention. Yeah. And just doing it. So I started in college, kind of took it from Alex, and just ran with it since then. It's really become a part of our life. That's what's up. But yeah, just taking that elevation and giving that person the, hey, Merry, and then it typically brings conversation after that. Yeah. Kind of breaks that wall down. But yeah, that's Merry.
That's what's up, man.
Love it. All right, so this has been so impactful. I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as we have. And there's so much more we can probably talk about. But we at the Client Group, we get to do opportunity to do Client Cares. So we give back to the community each month, and really a form of donation and money. We do other things as well, but we're going to give to the success team. So we appreciate you, what you're doing. Appreciate you. But I don't want to be the only person doing that from this. So we're going to make sure we put everything in the comments below, how to donate to you. But real quick, before we go, I want you to plug it. I want you to talk about it. And y'all seen the impact this has already had on this conversation. Think about the impact that conversation can have to the world. So go for it. Tell people how to give to you.
Do I look here?
Yeah. Do I look?
Absolutely. If you would like to support Success Team, visit us online at www.successteam.org. Follow us on Facebook at Success Team. Follow us on Instagram at Success Team, 3_. We're open to donations. We're open to partnerships. We're open to volunteers. And we would love to open that door and invite you to help us make a difference in the lives of our youth.
I love it. Tim, thanks so much, man. This conversation was great. Thank you, brother.
Yep. Yes, sir.